Hello, so welcome to this video for COMP3218, Game Design and Development at the University of Southampton. My name's Dave Millard, I'm one of the lecturers on the course, and I'm here with...
Hi, I'm Bob Remington. I'm one of the researchers at the University of Southampton and a demonstrator on this course.
Great, thanks Bob. So we're going to have a look at a few examples of student work today. Bob, do you want to say a little bit about what we asked the students to do?
Sure. So in this assignment, we've asked the students to come up with a playable game prototype that demonstrates a strong core dynamic and has a tutorial element.
Great, okay, well let's get on and have a look at our first game. Okay, so our first game for this video is called Spotlight. Okay, so nice menu screen.
Like the soundtrack in there.
Yeah, nice background musical kind of. So I've got play tutorial, quick game. So I'm guessing I should do the tutorial to start with.
Implies.
Welcome. Use WASD or arrow keys to move around. Okay. So interestingly, I can't do that until I press enter to continue. So collect all the keys while trying to avoid the enemies. Press escape at any time to pause the game. So okay. Fine, so I've got to avoid the enemies and collect the keys. Now you take the keys to the stairs to get to the next level. Okay, where do you think the stairs are?
There they go.
We forgot to mention one thing. You're going to be in the dark. Okay.
Ooh.
All right, so I've got a sort of limited view, and I've got to find the keys. Do you think? Oh, keys 1 of 1. I was going to say, do you think I need multiple keys?
Well, it's good that they've got that included.
Yeah.
You're carrying a little bow around. I wonder if you're going to be able to do any combat at any stage.
Ooh. There's the stairs. Level complete.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So now I need 0 of 2 keys. So I can't get through there. Oh, they just do damage.
You've been touched.
Oh, I thought it was a wall. Alright, okay, so I take damage. I've got a little health bar underneath me.
There you go.
So there's the stairs. That's useful to know.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the enemies don't have health bars, so it makes sense that they can't attack them.
Okay, oh, I've got 2 keys, don't I? Where's the other one? Yeah, alright, so let's hunt around under here.
I absolutely love the soundtrack, by the way. I love that it's going... I like the mood of it.
Oh dear.
Oh no. Oh, you made a death sound as well. That was
I did
cute.
make a little death sound. Right, retry level, which is good. So I can go up here. I keep thinking that's a wall. Right, so over there. Oh, there's the key. Oh, that's a bit sneaky.
Right.
Sticking it behind a
Gonna need a second key.
Do you think the enemy chases me when I'm off screen? Yes, they do.
Yep, they absolutely do. Oh, there's a key.
Is the other one? It's I like that. Yeah, it's quite forgiving with the enemy. That's quite nice. Level complete, so I can kind of slip past them. Okay. 0 of 2 again. All right. So we have a sort of. I recognise this tile set. I've seen this tile set many times.
Yeah, we have.
It's a good tile set.
It's a good tile set.
Right, there's some stairs. There's a key. Oh, I go slower over this bit. Does it? Oh, he doesn't go. He doesn't go. Oh, I'm trapped.
He doesn't go slower.
Oh, that's mean.
Oh, that is mean. Wow.
Okay. All right.
I guess you're weighed down by all those keys, and he isn't.
Oh, there's a chest. Hold E nearby to collect a key. Oh, I've got to actually. Well, I can trap you on the other side, presumably. There you go. So, okay, so... Alright, so chests hold keys, but it just takes a while to collect the key. So it's not like an instant collect. So, constantly chased by this person. Where's the key? Oh, it was down here in the quicksand, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Alright. There we go. And then the stairs were over here.
Absolutely.
All right. So I wonder if I'm going to get any other mechanics, at any point, or whether we're going to stick with the 1 of 4. Okay. Oh,
Oh,
the arrows are stopping
Oh,
us from...
arrows.
Arrows are... Yeah, but I'm not firing them. That's not allowed. Try and push this crate to block the flow of arrows. Oh, that's interesting. All right.
Cute. Nice. There you go.
Nice.
There's another mechanic for you.
There's another mechanic for me, yeah. All right, okay. Oh, I've got this, but it's one of these ones. There we go, got one. Can I get through there? No. All right. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Died. Okay, while I'm uselessly floundering around this level, shall we chat about the first criteria, which I think is the presentation?
Certainly. Yes, absolutely. As you say, the first criteria is indeed the presentation. That is the graphics, audio, and information design. Well, how do you feel about these?
So I think it's definitely got some nice audio. We already said about the kind of it has a kind of a nice soundtrack and sound effects, and yes, that's working well. And I think the graphics as well is quite
yeah, the graphics are working. I like the little health bar. That's a nice information design. You can very clearly see it go down, and the number of keys in the top corner.
It's very clear, isn't it?
You mentioned the audio. One audio I would have loved to have seen is you have like making a sound as you take damage. Or but you get one, I believe, when you collect a key, don't you?
Yeah, you get like a tinkle noise.
That's nice. So that's very good. So that combined with the
Whoa.
Oh.
No, I didn't use it wisely. I used it unwisely.
Well, I mean, at least you didn't get hit by them twice. Maybe you would have been hit by them twice going through that quicksand. That's true. Otherwise, the quicksand looks like quicksand. It's another bit of information design that I appreciate.
I think it's rather nice, actually. I think the graphics are appealing and consistent, and everything's very clear. I mean, it's relatively straightforward what it's having to convey, but it does a good job.
Yeah, so I personally would put that into the professional kind of good category. Yeah. Because it is quite complete.
What would it need to be excellent? To
be excellent, it would need to be impactful, complete, effective, and appealing. I think we could make the argument for being there. How about you?
Yeah. I'm not sure why I needed that. Yeah, I think. So yes, complete. I think it's definitely complete. I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to do with these, if I'm honest. They just seem to be... I mean, they're quite useful just to getting away, but I'm not really sensing how they fit as a sort of puzzle element. Yeah. So in terms of appealing, yes, I think they're. I think they're. Yeah, I think they're there. I think it's got quite a nice vibe to it, really.
Yeah, I'm happy to give that an excellent if that's what you.
So that takes us across to meaningful play.
Yes, it does.
So, yeah, that didn't go well. So I would say that you can definitely play it. So in terms of kind of it being, it's definitely engaging. Good question. Are you having fun? Yeah, it's such a difficult question, isn't it? Yes, I think I am. I don't mean to hesitate. I think it's because there's something a little bit repetitive about the gameplay. Although it's got nice to mix it up with the arrows and the crates and the different surfaces. And in particular, I like the fact that the crates make me feel like I've got a little bit more agency, and I can kind of I'm not just living by the seat of my pants kind of thing. I think you're right, and I think one thing you've hit on particularly there is the fact that it's complementary mechanics and intuitive controls, and there's not a lot of bugs, but you mentioned repetitiveness. Yeah. And I think that's the thing, an element here, is that it hasn't got a huge amount of complexity. No. So it's a relatively straightforward set of mechanics. Although it's nice they've got some variety in there. I think it would have been a bit more problematic if they hadn't had things like the quicksand. Where's the stairs gone? Nope. If they hadn't had things like the quicksand and the potions and things. But for me, the crates kind of... So I'm not quite sure whether that tutorial option, because I've done the main game, I think we've actually seen all the levels now.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think that I was sort of hoping that they would build on a little bit with what they were doing with the crates in terms of having to configure the level in order to solve the kind of chase, or to turn the chase into a bit more of a sort of a puzzle, as it were. I've got the keys now.
Personally, I would be happy to put this between a good and an excellent, with all of that in mind.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's fair. It's kind of it's fun, but it does get a little bit repetitive after a while. Yeah.
Great. So that's the overall quality. That brings us to the fulfilling the brief element of the criteria, and specifically level design. So,
okay.
Do you have a clear set of goals, risks, and rewards?
So I think the goal's very clear. So I've got to collect the keys, and I've got a thing on the top left that shows me very clearly what the keys are. So yeah, I think it's a good set of goals. Risks and rewards are interesting. What do you think the risks and rewards are?
Well, I think a big risk is obviously the quicksand. So when you're going through the quicksand, you want to get the most direct route to the key, but you may have to time when you do that for when the enemy is ideally at a distance. Similarly, opening the chests.
Yes.
You need to get them to get your goals, but you need to do that at an angle at a time when you reckon you can do it without the enemy getting to you. So also getting through the arrows and things.
So here's a question for you. Do you think that's a risk-reward balance?
Oh, because it's not alternative paths. It's not you can do this faster.
No, like this thing faster
it's not, get a better reward.
It's not like it's not like I can get 2 keys from a chest, or I can just go and find individual keys, right?
There is only a limited number of keys on the thing. Yeah,
I've got to get all the keys. I wonder these paths.
Yeah, it's not that there's a time and there isn't like a time reward for getting them faster.
No. So I
just have to get them all.
So I think the goal's quite clear, and I think there are some risks that you have to take in order to get the keys. What they've forgotten to do is to link rewards to those risks. So there is no reward for, for example, a puzzle like this where maybe there are 2 different solutions to this, right? But one requires me to do some nice timing with a potion to dash across between the arrows, but the other one requires me to push a crate from halfway across the level, right? And I have to make a decision about which one of those things I'm going to do. There's nothing like that in here. It's kind of sort of it feels like I have to do it. So actually the level of choice I actually have is limited. All I can really choose is the timing, and then there's no advantage for not doing it, as it were.
Yeah. So, a pass on that would be a limited set of goals, risks, and rewards. And you are describing the risk and reward ratio as being a bit limited. But that does, is that a bit harsh potentially? A satisfactory in turn would be a coherent set of goals, risks, and rewards.
Yeah,
We've definitely got the goals. The goals are nailed down. There are risks, but they're not well rewarded.
Yeah,
so where do we think?
So we got kind of like the goals are probably up at the good level, and then the risk rewards is probably down at the pass level. So I mean, I'd be happy to go for satisfactory, I think, and just settle in the middle.
I think that seems fair here, yes. Right.
So where does that take us?
Well, that brings us to pacing, I believe. Let me just check that. Yep, we're on to pacing. So, do we have tension, and does it rise over time?
So it's interesting. So I would say yes. Because the levels get more complex and more involved, and they get larger, so it's definitely there. There's something a bit lacking, and I'm trying to put my finger on what it is, and I think it's because I'm not necessarily. I don't feel like I'm necessarily gaining more powers in order to tackle these kind of things. And then when I do, because they put the potions in there, there's nothing that really requires me to use the potions. They're just sort of generally handy to have. And I can't trigger when I set them off or anything. So
we definitely have rising tension, but it may not be fully coherent, is kind of what I'm hearing.
Yeah, I think so. It just kind of feels... It feels like they're getting it. It's definitely here, but they're getting it in a relatively straightforward way by just making the levels bigger, by putting in new types of elements within the levels. But it doesn't really feel like they're getting much more difficult or much more sophisticated as they're doing that, right? So I think it's kind of a good would be tension rises over time in a coherent pattern.
Whereas satisfactory is tension clearly rises over time.
Yeah, so maybe halfway between the two, because tension clearly is going up. But yeah, it just does it. The game doesn't feel like it's building, right? That's what I'm missing,
I think that's fair. Okay, well that brings us to the tutorial. So that is, gameplay, explanation of gameplay and controls, and more marks for how gradually and aligned with play the revealing of that tutorializing is.
So I think they've done a decent job here. We've got one on screen right now, right? The arrows are stopping us from getting through. So they wait until we encounter the new thing as part of the level. They tell us about it. They tell us how to solve it, and they put the solution right there, right? Try and push this crate to the flow arrows.
At first, I was a little disappointed by the tutorializing, actually, because there are those sort of great. Oh, you can move them too. Oh,
that's
because there are those sort of because there are those grey boxes that kind of explain it with just text. But it is aligned with play. As the new thing comes up, you get a thing, and that's fair. But there are a few places where it is aligned with level design. And that's what always really impresses me, is if the tutorializing is realized through level design. And I believe that happens with the quicksand.
Yes, it kind of, they put the key there, you plunge into the quicksand, and then you realise that you're slow, and you very quickly learn that the zombie or whatever it is, thief, robber, monk, Buddhist Deadpool, whoever it is, I don't know. He's kind of I kind of wish I could kill him by luring him through the arrows. That would make my life.
That would be pretty good. Like a follows vibe.
Lost my stairs. So I think a good would be gradual explanation of gameplay controls fully aligned with play, and I think we're there, aren't we?
Yes. Fully aligned with play. Yeah.
Excellent would be
fully aligned with play and sometimes communicated through level design.
So
it is once communicated through level design.
Yeah. So I think that that probably puts us halfway there, then, doesn't it? They've kind of
I think
they've definitely no, it's good. They've done well.
So that's good. Yep. Okay, so that brings us to design element, core dynamic. Dave, what do you think is the core dynamic in this game?
Well, I'm guessing it's chase and evade. That's what I would say.
I think that seems reasonable because you're being constantly it follows by that guy. Unfortunately, they disagree with you.
Oh, what have they done? That's interesting.
They have gone with...
they've done such a good job of making a chase and evade game that I just naturally assumed that's what they were doing.
Unfortunately, they have chosen the dynamic they want to focus on is survival.
Oh, survival. Okay, interesting.
Which I'm not sure because you are like that seems like they've missed a core thing, which is that attempting to maintain a status quo against the odds. Whereas what's happening here is that you are actively collecting things to escape and then leave.
Yeah. So there's a bunch of stuff going on. So the way I would describe it is we've got three things going on. We've got chase and evade. I'm being chased. We've got collection, and we've got survival. Right. because I have to, you know, the survival one is actually probably the weakest of those three, I would say, because there's, all I'm doing to survive is just not getting hit, basically. But I would say that the way it's working is that the other two are in service of chase and evade, right? I'm surviving. I said the surviving. I'm not even sure if there is much of a survival one in here, really. I'm surviving.
So strikes me when reading and I'm reading here in the background the document which describes why they feel like it's that dynamic, and a lot of what they're telling me is again providing more evidence for it being chase and evade. For example, the game has objectives combined with the constant threat of the enemy character hunting you down, raising the tension. It's like, yes, that is absolutely what's happening, but that absolutely describes a chase and evade game. Similarly, raising the stakes higher with lighting mechanics to make it difficult, and that radius becoming smaller, which makes it harder for the player to keep track and creates more stress about the enemy finding them and finding where they are, which again is a lot of evidence towards being chase and evade.
Yes, I think so. Yeah, I think kind of. So this is all about why are you doing these things, right? So I am collecting the keys in order to escape, right? So the collection mechanic is clearly in service of the chase and evade. The survival thing is I'm trying to survive as long as possible in order to find the stairs and collect the keys in order to escape. So that's I think they work that way round as a kind of as supporting the chasing. Oh dear, it's going to go badly.
Oh dear.
I think maybe just one key on this side. That's the problem. So I mean, actually, I would have said that they've done a really nice job of making a chase and evade game. That there's definitely, like you said, there's that kind of It Follows vibe.
Indeed. So the thing here is that we do have a clear core dynamic that is supported by an integrated set of mechanics as they describe it. It's not the one that they said. So what does that do to the marking rubric?
Yeah, that's interesting. Well, let's have a little look. So I'm trying to think where it comes in. Well, I mean, yeah, it's an interesting one. I think kind of we have to go with what they've actually produced, right? And they have definitely done. So good would be a clear core dynamic that is supported by the primary mechanics, and it's definitely there. Excellent would be a clear core dynamic supported by an integrated set of mechanics, right? And then prizeworthy would be and other dynamics, right? And I would say there's a little bit of an element of those other dynamics actually in the terms of the keys. So and we do have a sort of integrated set of mechanics in terms of, you know, moving the crates to block the arrows, sprinting. Maybe we could have a bigger set. I think it feels a little bit simplistic, but it's there. So I think all of the stuff is kind of pointing in at it being somewhere between good and excellent, probably.
Okay. So you don't want to go the incredibly mean side of things and say that an attempt was made at a core dynamic, but the primary mechanics detract from it because they in fact point to a different core dynamic. I think, yeah. So I think you're right. So another way to read it would be to say they've tried to do a survival mechanic and survival dynamic, and failed miserably. But yeah, it's a real task failed successfully.
Yeah,
because I don't think we need to do that.
I think maybe a compromise would be to say, look, you know, I've actually got the keys. I need to find the stairs. Maybe we would say we can place it at the good level, and we can say, you know, the problem is that they've kind of, it's not clear what they're aiming for, but actually in their design they've ended up producing something that's quite coherent.
I think that's fair. I think a good is fair.
So that takes us to the feedback. So I'm kind of given their what they said about the dynamic, I'm kind of intrigued as to what their feedback was.
Ironically, the feedback was that during the development of the game, they felt that collection was their core dynamic. But in the feedback they received, that they were told that it was not a collection game because that's not a collection game. So they were told they were told that the mechanics we had to follow would make it more effective as a survival game. So they leaned into that mechanic, and then which I'm not sure how successful that was.
What did they
aforementioned reasons.
What did they say that they did?
So to add a sense of danger to the game, they added 2 more obstacles: mud and arrows, which, as we have experienced, mud slows them down, making them more vulnerable. And they added the key mechanic, key collection, to have a challenge. So they introduced the chest item to make it a bit more of a risky business. So they'd have to hold an interaction button.
So what they've
make them more vulnerable.
So what they've actually done is introduced a much more interesting set of mechanics, which has made their game better, right? But it hasn't.
Absolutely.
But it hasn't made it more of a survival game. So it sounds to me that beforehand, what was going on is that you were running around collecting not even collecting keys, right? You were just avoiding the person and presumably trying to get to the end of the level.
Oh, you were collecting keys. You were collecting keys, but to get to the end of the level.
Yeah, and that was it.
As you say, they've definitely addressed the feedback. They've listened to it, and they have made successful changes. They just haven't necessarily made the changes in the direction they expected, I think.
No,
they've interpreted them in quite imaginative ways. Like they've included all these new mechanics, which I think have been quite successful.
So the demonstrator said to them, it doesn't have enough survival elements in it. You need more survival stuff. And then
the demonstrator said it doesn't have collection mechanics.
Okay. So it's
right. It's not a collection game.
No, that is right. It's not a collection game. But they've kind of taken it in a weird direction. Yeah. So I mean, I think again, it's interesting, isn't it? Because they've addressed the feedback, they've interpreted the feedback, and the changes have been successful, which would normally put them up at the excellent level. But they've also sort of misunderstood the feedback, I think.
Yes, but they did put in all those new mechanics, and they did contribute to the gameplay. Like they successfully found what was fun and followed it. They just kind of misunderstood that core dynamic. It is unfortunate that core dynamic is a very core part of this coursework, but they have done a good job. So I think in this one I would actually argue for them to have fulfilled the brief of listening to the feedback and adding things.
Let's.
I would happily put it between like a good and an excellent.
Yeah, I think what I'll do is I sort of say put it between the two, and that kind of reflects this kind of ambiguity about how they've interpreted how they've understood the feedback. But there's no denying that what they've done has made a better game. Definitely.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
So, before we finish up, what final thoughts on this one?
I think they've done a really good job of creating a game that expands from a simple set of mechanics, and it does go in places. And what they did was really well, I think, was that they defined a minimum viable product, and then they expanded on it. So they've done something that's achievable, and frankly, and really quite fun and quite effective.
Yeah, I think you used the phrase, I think, followed the fun, right? And I you know, that is the secret sauce of game development often. So they've done a good job of doing that, and I think produced quite a playable game as a result. So yeah, well done. Okay, let's move on to our next game. Okay, so our next game is called Landscape, which is a kind of intriguing title. I'm kind of interested to see what this one is. Okay, Landscape. That kind of looks like a wall, but you know, that's fine. I wasn't sure what I was expecting. Beautiful vistas. What's under settings? A volume slider, that's always useful. Right, so no music so far, but then I haven't got into the game yet, so hit play. There we go. Move left arrow, right arrow, or D. Okay. Oh, I'm up there. Am I Marge Simpson? What's going on with that little... Oh no, it's a tiny little sorcerer with a blazing purple torch.
Adorable.
But it's very, very small.
You're very small.
Okay, so I can't go there. Spell 1, invert gravity.
Oh.
There we go. So it's there we go. Okay, my spells kind of work, yeah. And then spikes are deadly. Touching will force you to restart the level. Okay. Got it. Spell 2, change your perspective. I'm sort of half in the bottom there. C. Oh my life.
Oh, they've made Fez.
Where am I? Oh my god, I'm over there. But I'm
Oh,
so
you're very
wee.
small.
I'm so tiny, tiny. Okay, so I change. So how did I fall? Oh, that. Oh dear, that went badly.
Mm.
Oh my life. Oh, I see. So I can now fall off. So my left and right. So that will now leap me to my. Oh,
Yeah,
dear.
that will now
Oh!
make you fall. Ooh.
Oh, that was interesting.
Oh.
Yeah, I meant to do that.
Hello.
Oh no, I didn't mean to do that.
Oh, goodbye.
That was. Okay, so all right.
It's a space with you.
So C works. So I can.
Which I like because it's kind of like, oh, look, now you can skip the
Oh,
whole
I did it
tutorial
again.
level.
I did it again. I keep pressing the wrong thing. Right, C.
Maybe you shouldn't skip the tutorial.
Are you thinking I shouldn't skip the tutorial? Well, no, this is kind of.
Well, no, I was being sarcastic.
Yeah, you're probably right. Actually, I
You're
shouldn't.
hitting the space bar.
Here we go. Let's do invert gravity, spikes, yada yada. Down here, change round like that.
Mm.
Where am I? Oh, I'm in there. Well, how am I supposed to get out of there?
Ooh, now come on, Dave. This is a puzzle to solve, I reckon. Ooh,
Oh,
spikes on the
what?
ceiling. Ooh.
Was it me, or was I just over against that wall?
I think you were over against that wall, but I think because you changed your perspective, it put you in the thing in front.
Okay. Where am I going? Oh, I'm there. Oh. Where am I now? Oh, I'm here. Oh, this is not only is it tight, it is like watching mind-bending ants. It's like this tiny. Okay.
You are very small. You are very, very small.
I am very small. Let's do that. So, oh my god, I'm up there now. And when I do it, I occasionally seem to change. I sort of. Oh, that's strange. It doesn't. There's something. The dimensionality isn't right. So, like, I just went up, and then I didn't move, and I went straight down again. And I landed in a different place than when I went up. And I can't figure out if they're doing that deliberately.
Yeah, is that
not.
a bug or is it a deliberate thing?
So is it like because what's it called?
Either,
like a forced perspective type thing, like
Yeah.
I don't know, what's it called? Monument Valley or.
Wait, did you play Fez back in the day?
No.
Ah, see, because Fez has very much does this sort of a 2D platformer in a 3D world, and occasionally you flip the world, and that can happen. This can happen in that where you sort of changing your perspective puts you onto a different plane. But
yeah, and like I said, that's a common thing. I think the problem is it normally works with a certain type of force perspective, where
this isn't quite happening.
So what that means is that what I mean by that rather is that when you're in a particular view, it looks like a coherent space. And then when you rotate it, it's still a coherent space, but it's a different coherent space. And the problem I have here is it feels like it's an incoherent space. So like...
It's very hard to gauge like the size of the spikes compared to you as well.
Yeah. So if I go down here and come round again... So I'm at the bottom of this thing between those two brown walls, right? But if I turn round, I am still there. I'm still between those two brown walls. So if I turn back again, and then back, no, I'm still there.
If you go right a little bit, and now.
Oh dear! Don't press space. Press the other one. Ah. And also, when I rotate it, it gives me this very zoom. Oh, I see it go. So where am I? I'm there. Okay. So, change perspective. But there's nothing.
Right. Yes. If you go.
There you go.
Right.
There. I've moved.
There.
But I didn't move. All I did was change the perspective. So I don't know why I'm there now. Yeah.
And you hadn't moved that time, had you? You
No,
hadn't, like,
no,
made
literally
decisions to
hadn't
line
touched
that
the
up? No.
hadn't touched the controls at all.
Mm.
So
I think it's got a
now
little bit of buggy control there.
I'm underneath that thing presumably,
Yeah.
but I can't see. Right, and then so that was interesting. So I didn't press space then. I pressed C to rotate. So I rotated, and then it moved me off. And I wonder whether there's something going on with their camera that's not quite right, or they should have some kind of projection that they're not getting to work. But okay.
Do you feel like you know where you're trying to go as well?
Well, there's that kind of little sunset over in the...
Yeah.
And I'm guessing it's over there.
Oh, you're up on the roof now.
I'm just giving up. I'm just thinking this is really hard. I can't tell like what plane I'm in or anything.
I mean...
Oh, there you are. See? So do you see the way I snapped to the front?
Yeah, yeah.
And I got a lot bigger.
Yes.
Now try again against the clock.
Oy.
Okay.
I mean, that one was pretty quick because it turns out you can just run.
Well, yeah, so what did I do? I did... Oh no, wrong way around. So I think what I want to do is something like that, and then rotate, and then run over here. And then... Oh no, I did it again! I did it again! I keep pressing the wrong button. C is rotate. Everyone knows that. Right. Yeah, so I think I know what they've gone for, but I think that... Oh, that's it. See, why did that happen? And now I'm here.
Yeah.
It's... yeah, I think...
They have gone for something genuinely quite ambitious here.
Yes, I admire the ambition. I think it's to do with the fact that you don't have a normal projection. You have a kind of... I've forgotten what it's called, an oblique projection. There's a description for it where you know that it works, right, and everything lines up and it looks consistent. Whereas I think they because they haven't got that, it becomes really difficult. Like there you go. Like I just dropped off that one. I think
this would have been a lot more readable if they'd flattened it to a fully like 2D perspective rather than the sort of semi 3D.
I wonder. So are they literally... Is it literally just a sort of 2D... I'm wondering whether the size of my character is a little bit... But it's just... yeah, look. That's what's going on. See? It's literally just... It's like it's a 2D plane. So I'm thinking it's a 3D plane, but it's not.
Yeah.
So it's purely 2D. All right, I'm beginning to get a better sense of this now. So, if I come off here, I'll go down there. And then, yeah, can I get past that wall? Yeah, and then that gets me to the end.
Yeah.
And I've got the timer going. Yeah.
And then as you go straight over, it'll bring you forward like it's a one 2D plane, I guess.
Can you beat the developers'
22 seconds is pretty good.
Best time of 14 seconds? I can't remember how I did it now. Something like that. Oh no, press the wrong button.
Okay, well, you continue to press the wrong button. I'm going to have a little look at the marking rubric here.
That's probably a good idea.
So, let's have a look at the presentation.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
That includes things like graphics, audio, and information design. So audio is quite nice. You've got this little soundtrack. You've got the sound of dying. It would have been quite nice to have a sound when you cast one of your spells.
Yes, there's sort of a lack of feedback. We've got like there's a little audio sound there. So so the sound is fine. I think it's got nice music and that suits. And the some sound effects that kind of work. I'm going to try and beat the developer's time of 14 seconds, but I think I'm going to be a bit too slow.
I'm leaving you. I
There you go.
Visually is where we run into some interesting things.
Yes, there's some funny stuff going on. Go on, do tell me what you think.
So there's this for one thing in the graphics, there's this kind of everything at different scales, which feels weird in this context.
Yeah.
Because part of it is about navigating through the space, and it kind of doesn't help having it all be these different brickwork things. The bigger element is that you've got this 3D 2D transition.
Yeah.
And it looks 3D, but it's treated as 2D, so that actively makes the game more confusing. Like all the other kind of graphic stuff about how nice it looks is a little bit secondary compared to, is the graphics actually making it hard to play? And in this case, it kind of was.
Yeah.
Having said that, you're getting through it. They've clearly made an attempt at lots of graphics. You understand what's happening when you fly off into space and you're dying. Things are also very tiny, though. You are also very, very tiny.
Yeah, it's difficult to.
How tiny you are.
I think I think the reason we're both struggling is we both admire the ambition, right? We're like, and I think they've tried to do something really interesting, but it doesn't quite work, and it's to do with the way that the visuals, which is why we're talking about in the presentation, present you information about the topography of the level. And so just imagine, for example, that this wasn't textured, that it was instead solid colours, right? So, for example, where I've got that green ledge sitting out on the right-hand side, instead of that looking like a 3D green ledge, it was just a shape, just a trapezium, right? And then I feel like it might work a bit better, because I would see that angle there as being an actual angle that I would land on and slide on, as opposed to
if there weren't any sort of lighting and shadow effects, it would be one contiguous shape, right?
So
I can navigate that.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of. So if I do that, for example, I'll land there, and then I can run over here. Yeah. And
and you would, and it would be nice for your eyes to be able to make sense of that as being what you're reading. Yeah, I get what you mean.
There we go. So I think. Yeah. So I mean, in terms of the presentation, then, so I would say that the music is perhaps somewhere between workable and professional, right? It sort of does a reasonable job. There's not a huge amount of it, but it's working. The problem is that the graphics and the information design. So there's nothing kind of particularly unappealing about the graphics or anything, although that sort of mixture of sort of pixel avatar and kind of textured backgrounds is slightly strange.
I would put it in put it in workable if it weren't for the fact that it actively kind of makes gameplay harder.
Yeah, well, so, I think the information design is problematic.
So could we call it somewhere between a pass and a satisfactory?
Yeah, I think so.
Between flawed and workable.
I think it's to do with this clash of information about the level. I think that's probably a good place to put it, right?
Okie dokie.
And then this kind of relates to the meaningful play as well, because I wouldn't describe this as properly playable. I would say it's my gut reaction to this is it's challenging to play, because it's not clear what's going to happen when you press rotate or when you jump off something. It's not obvious.
That's fair. Yeah, you want to be able to work your way. You want to be able to know what you're going to do. You want to be able to make a meaningful decision and have that outcome be dictated by you, the player.
So there doesn't really seem to be any bugs, and the controls are simple but fine. But I think, and there's a couple of mechanics here. You know, you've got the spikes, you've got the reversing, you've got the flipping. But unfortunately, I just think it becomes awkward, because ultimately I don't feel like I'm actually in control. Like I when I do this, I'm kind of thinking it feels almost like luck as to where
Having said that,
Yeah.
you have got to the end a few times, so there is some planning and things happening. I think to be fair, we could probably put it again between the two,
Okay.
between challenging and playable.
Yeah. Okay, I think that's probably fair. I'll get up there.
As you said, there's not a lot of bugs. Their ambition hasn't fully paid off, but that there are some mechanics and you are using the controls coherently, more or less. Goals, risks, rewards. Do we have a coherent set of goals, risks, rewards?
So it doesn't sort of signpost very well where the exit is, but the goal is to get to the exit, and it's fairly obvious. The risks and rewards is where it becomes problematic. Because I wonder whether if the developer was here, they would say, well, but you could go through the level this way, and you could go through the level this way. And the problem is we can't read the level, right? So it's so difficult to see what the potential paths are that you can't make an informed choice.
You're just trying to make your way through it,
and I'm
as
kind of
best you can, not really making decisions about what's the fastest.
No, I'm just kind of like there. Why didn't I land on that wall at the back? Why did I fall through that? I don't. It feels quite random, and I'm not plotting my way through. So whereas you've got risks in here like the spikes, and I could say, well, you could go that way, but you've got to try and get past the spikes or whatever. But the truth is, I don't really know. I'm not really able to make informed decisions about what I'm doing or where to go.
Okay. So would you say that those goals rewards are limited, or that they are incoherent and very limited?
So I would say that the goals are coherent. Perhaps not as clear as they could be. Definitely coherent. And then I would say that the risks and rewards are probably down at the kind of incoherent or very limited. It's the coherency. I couldn't actually, like where I am now, right? I can't actually tell you a path to take. Right? And I'm going to press the C button here. I have no idea what will happen, right? So I'm there. Okay.
I keep losing you as well in the scene.
Notice that the two cameras are at different positions. So this one's quite high. So I am in the bottom third of the screen. This one is quite low, and I'm in the middle of the screen. Right. So that's also a weirdness to where they've done it. But yeah. So I think that probably we can say it's at the pass level because the goals are more coherent. But yeah, I think there's a problem with risk and rewards. And even if we could navigate this properly, I suppose you've got the timer. So then it's like, do you go the kind of more risky route?
Yeah, I feel like the timer is the only thing making there any degree of risk reward, because otherwise it's just get through it, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So on to pacing.
So
I don't really think we have any variation in pacing.
No, I mean I've got one level, and even as I progress through the level, there's not even pacing within that one space. You could argue that this bit maybe, so it's like I've got a little 2D bit, and then here we go into Nightmare Land.
Okay,
right?
Yeah, there's some sort of upward tension there, and then
I would say that what we have here is a step change after this little bit at the beginning, and that's it. So a pour would be variations in tension, but no coherent pattern over time.
Yeah,
and a pass would be tension somewhat rise over time. Maybe halfway between the two to represent the fact that we've got this moment. Otherwise, I think I would say that there's no...
I think, to represent the fact that as you go through the tutorial, it does go up, rise a bit, and then it becomes incoherent. So I think in between the two is very reasonable. Okay, that brings us to the tutorial. So the tutorial... tutorial give us an explanation of gameplay and controls?
So if I do play, so the tutorial is effectively that little bit at the top, move left and right. That one to invert gravity. It says spell 1, which kind of implies there's a spell 2 as well.
There is. Spell 2 is changing your perspective.
Oh, spell 2. You're right. And that writing is actually part of the level, as you can see.
Yeah, it's fully baked in.
And then you've got that kind of little tutorial wall, I suppose. That's essentially the tutorial. So it's quite simple. Has some quite effective elements. I like the fact the writing's incorporated into the level. I like the fact it appears.
I enjoy that.
I like the fact that that very first bit where you have to flip in order to get past the first obstacle. That's there. And then I also like the fact that the tutorial wall kind of is a thing of its own, and then it gets you into this more complex kind of space. So those elements all work quite well.
Yeah, I think that's all actually pretty good. It is gradual. It's aligned with play.
Yeah.
It can't, I don't think, go into that high, excellent category because I don't think there's any further tutorializing through level design.
So it's
just what you get at the beginning.
I think I might. I have some reservations about the scale of this in terms of what they managed to deliver, and therefore there's not that much to tutorialize. It's worth saying this is the work of 2 people, not 3. So compared to some of the other games I might look at, so I think we can overlook that. But yeah, I think I'd agree with you. I think it kind of sits there.
Okie dokie. So do you reckon that would be more satisfactory or more good? Is the gradual explanation of gameplay and controls fully aligned with play, or somewhat aligned with play?
I would say it's so yeah, I think it has to be somewhat aligned with play.
I think it does, because I think there's one major thing that isn't fully aligned with play here.
Yeah.
In the tutorializing, and that is the whole movement between levels thing. You can switch your perspective as the last thing that happens, but that kind of strange contiguous movement between things isn't really fully tutorialized and was difficult for you to navigate through the level design. So I think some is fair.
Yeah. So that takes us on to the core dynamic.
Okie dokie, let's have a look at it.
Which I'm guessing they're talking as a spatial reasoner.
It is a spatial reasoner, so they have definitely understood the assignment there.
And everything is pulling in the right direction, isn't it? So we've got kind of obstacles, we've got the kind of perspective shift to get around particular things, we've got the kind of spikes. Again, the kind of number of mechanics that are there supporting it is a little bit more limited, but we can perhaps overlook that. So we've got a kind of a satisfactory would be a clear core dynamic that is partially supported by the primary mechanics, and good would be that it is supported by the primary mechanics. I think it's probably at the good level.
Yeah. I think that's fair, because you're very, very, very doing spatial reasoning.
Yeah, I would say that perhaps there's not enough going on to make it integrated, and there doesn't feel like there's any other dynamics happening.
Yeah, there's not a bunch of things adding to it.
So it's probably limited to good level. But yeah, no, I think they've done a good job of kind of making sure it all, what I said, all pulls in the right direction. So that takes us to feedback. Yes.
Yeah. So the feedback that they received during the first things that they when sort of coming up with the idea of the game, they received the feedback that altering the player's perspective using a free camera would make developing the game very challenging, both in creating levels for and coding.
Yeah.
So their response was to use predefined fixed camera positions. I think that was a good choice, so it would have been better if they'd made this 2 cameras on the same plane.
Yes, they're not
on the same height.
They're not consistent. Yeah, you kind of you want it to rotate very, very carefully. You want to kind of that sort of forced, like I said, forced perspective games are very, very careful with their cameras.
Yeah. Later on, they got feedback from a demonstrator which is mechanics work, but the user is thrown into everything all at once, so that the existing level design could be a finale.
Yeah.
In response, they added a tutorial level, which is good advice. But adding a tutorial, I always feel like is kind of is a bit, well, that's very much in the marking rubric. Is having a tutorial, so
Yeah, I mean,
definitely glad they did it. It was successful.
This tutorial wall is very good. So yeah, I think they do deserve some credit for putting that in and responding in that way. So we've got the camera thing, which I think is not as successful as they'd have hoped. The tutorial wall, which I think is successful, does work. Was there anything else?
So between changing perspective and shifting gravity, deciding which mechanic is experienced by the player first. So as part of creating the tutorial, they learn to shift gravity first, making sure the control scheme is easily and obviously viewable. Another piece of feedback that they had was that the timer muddies the core mechanic more than it helps, which I kind of get because it's this, potentially adds a race to the end feeling.
Yes.
And because this is primarily a puzzling kind of spatial reasoner, the player needs to work out how the mechanics interact. So in the beginning level, so in the first tutorial and the first time you play it, they effectively removed the timer, and then the timer is only revealed as a supporting dynamic after the first time you've made it to the end.
Yeah,
so
that's
that adds a supporting dynamic of race to the finish.
Yeah, that's kind of
They
interesting.
they very much understood core dynamics there, which is
Yeah.
cool. And it does help. It does help.
Yeah, I mean, so the timer thing, I think obviously it brings this race to the finish dynamic in, but if that's in support of the puzzle, then I agree. I see what the demonstrator was saying though, is like you're puzzling in order to race to the finish, not racing to the finish in order to solve the puzzle. But yeah, okay. So they've actually made quite a sophisticated set of changes to their game then in response to the feedback. I mean, a good would be feedback has been addressed and the changes have been successful. A satisfactory would be changes have been somewhat successful. I think. What were they? So we talked about the camera perspective. I think that's only been somewhat successful. What were the other ones? We had
the tutorial wall,
which I think has been successful.
Yes, and the application of one mechanic at a time, so one spell learned at a time. First the gravity shifting, and then the perspective shift. I think that was also a good choice.
And then the last one was about the dynamic and about kind of...
the race to the finish, removing the timer the first time you play and then playing through it, and then you get the timer. And I think that was also a successful change.
Yeah. So I think... so it's just the camera, really. So I think maybe between satisfactory and good.
I think that's fair.
Would be where we are. So yeah, final thoughts on this one?
I think it was a very ambitious choice, and I really do applaud that. I think anything that messes around with physics in this way is going to be tricky to realize, but I really applaud the effort that went into it.
Yeah, I think that's where I am. I think maybe that I wonder whether they realised it was as difficult as they thought. It'd be interesting to chat to them. And see what they thought, what their reflection was having done it, because it's to do with the camera positioning, it's to do with the level design, it's to do with making the puzzles so the puzzles kind of feel coherent when you switch, and that's really difficult. But yeah, bravo for having a go.
Absolutely,
and it's fun to play with. But feels like it could do a little bit of tightening up, a little bit more development, and a tighter levels. I think would probably help quite a bit. Yeah. Okay, let's move on to our next game. Okay, so our next game is called Asylum Break. Okay, nice. I love the font. That's great, and the kind of whole sort of one flew over the cuckoo nest vibe.
Somewhat threatening syringe,
yeah.
Fine.
So, start game or instructions. Oh, movement keys: left, right, jump. Left, right, jump.
I jump.
Space. So that's interesting. So it's sort of implied, but I don't have a jump key.
Yeah.
Or a left key. So or a right key.
Left. Okay.
I suppose the curse is. I'm guessing that space is jump.
Jump or
okay,
W
so
or space.
Q is heal and E is speed boost. All right.
Okay.
Let's see if.
You've got a
A
cutscene.
little cutscene. Need to keep that dry for the next one. Tutorial. Quick, can you just escape the asylum? Avoid that guard by jumping on the platform or he'll catch us. Okay, done. Brilliant. There we go.
Oh, can't see you there.
What do I do now? I guess I go this way. Okay. Quit a door. Quick, let's get to the next level. Okay, through the
I have
door.
seen this game.
Oh. Okay. There's a thing going on in the top left. What's that? The kind of the boxes up here.
Are those your lives?
Let's find out. Yes.
Haha.
Oh, can I jump
Oh,
up?
no.
Can I jump up there? No, I can't jump up there.
No, you cannot.
Is that too high?
You'll have to lure the guard.
Oh dear, this has gone bad.
Oh.
This has gone badly. Oh.
Why are the guards of the asylum injuring you?
Yeah.
It's not like I would have thought they would catch you and put you back in the padded room, but
Something
there
weird,
they are.
something weird going on with the camera and I'm jumping, but maybe the warden in blue has a key to open it. Okay.
But how will you? How? Okay.
So warden was down here. Tap the space key in the bars on the green area to steal the warden's key.
A mini game.
Okay, and murder the warden apparently.
Well done.
But now I've got to get back in the way that I
Yeah. And can you jump over them?
I can jump over them. Oops.
You've got a key.
Something odd's going on with the controls. Like so when I keep it pressed.
Oh yeah, that is jerky.
Yeah.
It's like when you move, the camera moves a number of blocks. Oops, sorry.
We need to escape this guard. This medicine will make me faster. Press E to use the syringe. So I've got one syringe at the top. Why do I need to escape the guard? He's there. I go faster than him anyway. So what's the point of... Ooh.
You need to...
Yeah. Okay. So they gave me a thing which I still have. But I didn't need to use it. So that's a shame. And then on a pill, this restores some health. Press Q to use the pill. Okay.
Oh.
Alright, there we go. Okay. Go up here. Up there, presumably. Oh yeah, that's making me feel unwell. Right. Oh, do I need a key? Oh, I can't. Do I need a key to get through the door? No.
No.
Was there a thing that showed you whether the... Is this the same level? Not the same level.
No.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay. Find out later if you ever escape the asylum. Interesting. All right. Okay. So we've got some good stuff to talk about, I think. So I don't think I can... It's a shame they didn't take me back to the menu, so I'm going to have to kill the game. And then we can restart and we can have a chat about the presentation. So, presentation, what do we think?
Well, it looks quite cute. I like that all the little blocky people. They're quite fun.
It's got a nice aesthetic, hasn't it?
Yeah.
I kind of... It kind of... But I feel like it has potential rather than being fully realised, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think that's to do with... so they've got the cutscene here. That's lovely. Little zoom in. Really nice. Really nicely done. Sets up the premise. And the guards and you look great. But the background feels... it's consistent.
Yeah, like it's, it kind of works from a sort of padded cell / tiled walls, kind of hot, like sterile vibe. But there's a lot of things which have sort of been cut out from stuff. What I think's happened here is that they've actually made a lot of it themselves, or one of them has.
Yes.
That's why I've got this combination of realized elements and blank boxes, and I applaud the effort. But this is, why most people choose to use predefined sets.
Yeah.
That was such a cute mini game. I wish it came back.
Yeah, it's sort of weird that they introduced it and then it's not used again.
Well, maybe it is, but we just didn't realise we didn't try and lockpick the guard because none of the other doors are locked.
Yeah. Oh no, I've done that.
Like,
I never even used this, did he?
Yeah, and you never used that. Like, that
Let's
was
try
the
it.
first level. Was almost the most interestingly complex level.
Oh my life!
Whee!
Oh,
Oh, there
yes,
you go.
It does have a key.
They do. They just didn't lock the other doors.
But okay, I didn't steal it last time. It's curious.
Yeah. The funny thing is that going back and forth level, the first time you pick the lock, is probably also the most sort of complex level. Anyway,
Yes,
getting
it
ahead of
is.
ourselves.
Yeah. So okay.
So we've got sounds when you jump, sounds when you take medicine.
Yeah, we've got music going on. Information design. We can see what level. So I think that the graphics have potential, but perhaps are a little bit patchy. But actually are quite. I quite like the style. And then the
generally workable.
Information design is pretty good. I'm not quite sure still whether you can tell whether you need a key for the door or not. But other than that,
I know that those blue things are health, but I don't know what they're meant to be representing. But
no. So what would be a satisfactory would be workable.
Yeah, generally workable, effective, but some inconsistencies, and I sort of feel like that's where we are. Because there are inconsistent elements, but it is doing the job.
Yes, I think you're right. I think that's where we are. Okay, let me kill it again.
Meaningful play. Dave, are you having fun?
It's playable, but the lack of complexity is a problem. Because it feels like I'm just going right and jumping over a few things. And I don't really feel like I'm navigating a level or kind of having much in the way of a sort of a challenge.
And you mentioned that the controls feel weird with the camera being as it is.
Yeah, that's fine. It just feels. It's not so much the camera behavior as that the kind of jitteriness. So down here is a bit. Maybe it just feels a little bit strange. I would say it's definitely playable.
I'm impressed by is it there doesn't seem to be that there's a lot of bugs as such. There's some things that are overlooked in terms of the doors being openable after you learn about keys, and indeed can collect keys, but you don't need them.
Yeah.
But despite that, there's sort of generally not a lot of bugs. It seems to all be working.
I think it's fine. Like I said, it's playable, but not particularly engaging or fun. I would think. I think we kind of got we've got a couple of things going on, but there's not a load of mechanics. The controls are fine, but there's a simplicity in the level design, which I guess we'll get to later. So yeah, it kind of feels there.
Plonks us firmly in the playable category of satisfactory.
Yeah. So that takes us on to the actual level design stuff and goals, risks, rewards.
Goals, risks, and rewards. You have a clear goal.
Goal's very obvious. It doesn't tell me where the door is, but that's interesting. I can't actually see the. That's interesting. I didn't even know the guy was there. Yeah, it doesn't tell me where the door is, but it's always on the right, so that's kind of fine.
Yeah, side scroller, that's fine.
Risks and rewards, I think, is more problematic because there's no reward other than progression. And
there's only really one path, isn't there?
And therefore, there's no paths or choices between different risks and rewards. So I would say the risks and rewards are. I mean, are they missing completely? Have we got anything?
Faster and health.
we got anywhere?
So when you got your pills of healing,
Yeah.
were they in any way behind a barrier, like another guard that you had to make a decision to circumvent?
Not really.
No. I think they might be very limited indeed.
So if that's the case, then what we're basically saying is that for the goals we've got a coherent goal, a sensible goal,
and then
or a clear goal.
Limited or very limited set of goals, risks, rewards.
I think we've got. It's right down the bottom, I think, for risks and rewards. So we've got a kind of a very limited set. I think even that's general. I can't think of any. I'm trying to figure out if you have a choice to pick the pocket of the guard, but also why would you not? It's not actually that difficult, and it's sort of So I think overall, we're going to end up somewhere down at very limited set of goals, risks, and rewards, which is going to be at the poor level.
It is at the poor level,
unfortunately.
Okie dokie. Well, how about pacing? Do we have any tension? Does your tension rise over time?
So, we've clearly got some pacing. We've got kind of like, it starts off with a bit of premise setting here. It's nice, and then the first level is very simple. And then it kind of introduces the different mechanics. So yeah, it kind of goes through the motions properly of kind of introducing us to this game. It makes these first level. I've got these platforms over all the guards, which makes it a bit easier to jump over them. And then we've got the rising platforms here. Forgot he was there.
I enjoyed that. I like the challenge of jumping over a guard physically is introduced on the second level, along with the lockpicking. I think that's all kind of nice, actually.
Yeah, so I think the progression's rather. Am I taking a damage? I don't know. I can't jump.
You have taken one damage from that.
I can't jump.
Are you stuck on him?
Yeah, I'm not stuck on him. I can't. I need to move him this way. It's like riding a horse. There you go.
There you go. You found another mechanic.
So I think a satisfactory would be tension clearly rises over time, and I think we're there.
Okay.
Good would be rises over time in a coherent pattern, and I'm not sure there's enough. Maybe it's getting towards there with the introduction of the different mechanics and the different levels.
Yeah, they have definitely made an attempt of having all those different mechanics increase over time, but I don't think they've quite got there.
No.
But they've certainly introduced more things over time, and it is a rising thing. So maybe between the two,
I think that's
satisfactory for that.
Yeah, I think that's fair to kind of to go between the two.
Satisfactory and good.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, I think so, because and based on the fact that they introduced the mechanics gradually, but it just feels that there's not much to introduce, and I said it's very straightforward. But, so that takes us to the tutorial. So the tutorial, here we go. These consist of these pop-ups which sort of pop up, and they start off doing this quite well because they introduce the jump, and then they have the platforms over the guards, and then they introduce the kind of the keys, and I've got to open the key to get through the door, and then they introduce the lock, the pickpocketing, and then this one's a bit weird because they introduce it but you don't need it, basically. In fact, it might even make the game harder.
It kind of makes it a bit harder. But it is nonetheless, aligned with play. You get the thing and you use it, and it's not just in like.
I think they actually, apart from the syringe, they actually done a pretty good job. So satisfactory would be gradual explanation of gameplay and controls, somewhat aligned with play. Good is fully aligned with play, and it's maybe halfway between the two.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable.
I don't think there's. they kind of have the level so that you can use the things as you learn about them, I don't think it uses the level to teach you, which is the next level up.
No, I don't think there is indeed any level design as tutorialized level design.
There's a choice.
For example, pools of blood that you have to get through at certain speed to outpace a guard, for example.
So, by the way, this is a choice point, right? So I can go through the door, or I can go back on myself and go up here to pick up pills.
And get a health pill. Okay.
But there's not really any risk. That's the problem. Because I'm not racing.
Another guard up there,
there's not another guard up there. What they ought to have done is put a guard here. If there was a guard here and the pills were up here, there you go. The perfect risk reward situation, right?
Absolutely.
Do I try getting past the guard to get the pills, risking losing yet another life?
All right, let's have a look at the old core dynamic.
So this is kind of an interesting one. I wonder whether this is why the game feels a little bit listless. Because I'm not quite sure what the core dynamic is.
So,
is this a new thing over here?
Oh,
I've been over here before.
I don't think you have, because you don't need to get a key.
Do I?
You can do it without, but you have this time.
Do I not?
I feel. Yeah, that was the. You didn't actually need to get a key. If you did need to get a key, I think that would have been a bit more interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. So what? So okay, we'll restart this, and while we're doing that, we can have a chat about the core dynamic. So what do we think?
So they feel that their core dynamic is spatial reasoning, emphasizing navigation, positioning, movement-based problem solving, distances between platforms, avoiding enemies, and planning routes to collect items. I think of the lot, that's probably true, but I don't think it's very strongly communicated.
So what we got? What are the candidates, right? So we got collection.
So they have said, they said the secondary thing that they have is chase and evade.
Yeah, so chase and evade.
And I think that is one of the contenders. Yeah.
I think the problem they have, and the reason I said that this feels when you said, "Is it fun to play?" and I sort of went, "Well," and I think this is why I don't think they've done enough to emphasise any one core dynamic. I don't think they have a core dynamic. If the guards aren't, they don't. I mean, like the fact I can just sit here, for example, kind of makes it feel like it's not a chase and evade game, right? Chase and evade games, unless you're hiding,
something comes for you,
right? You can't just sort of stop, right? There's not really spatial reasoning because I'm jumping around platforms.
Once you've jumped the platform, you can't really make a plan about it.
No,
you do have to make some spatial reasoning choices regarding when you jump in between platforms. But jumping over guards, but they aren't.
Yeah.
If they were contributing to a race to the end, that would sort of work.
Yeah,
that's not really happening.
The same with the keys. It's like there's a sort of a collection dynamic going on with the keys, but it's not really. You just need to collect the keys to get out.
It's not.
I mean, if you were being brutal about it and you said, "What do you actually need to do? What is the primary thing you are engaged with?" It probably is collection. You're collecting the keys, and once you have the keys, because the keys enable you to progress, right? But yeah,
we usually describe collection, the importance of collection games being the enjoyment of building a collection. So in Pokemon, where your goal is catch them all, you have combat too, but the goal is always have the biggest collection. I don't think the goal here would be have the biggest collection of
collection is sick. Yeah, this is the problem. So
if it were really
So
if it were really fun, it could be like a race to the end, or it really would be quite good if the guards did chase you and it were chase and evade, because that would tie in well with the asylum theme.
Yes.
But they're just kind of obstacles.
Yeah, I've got to click on these to get rid of them. So I
marking that.
Yeah, go on. It feels like it's very ambiguous.
Yes. So I don't think we can say that there's a clear core dynamic at all, but we can we say that there's an attempt at a core dynamic but not supported by the primary dynamics? Or do the primary mechanics even detract from it?
I might put it between the two, between a poor and a pass. And the reason for that is that I don't think the primary mechanics detract from it. It just feels like I said it's incoherent. It feels like there's nothing. It's pulling in different directions. There's no clear.
Well, is it then that there is no real serious attempt made at a core dynamic here?
Yeah, it's the absent. Yeah.
Is it in fact absent?
So what do they go for? They went for spatial reasoning.
Spatial reasoning. I do think they made an attempt at it.
Yeah, I think I'd agree.
I don't think it is well supported.
All right, so that puts it at the poor level.
But yeah, or that would be a pass. So I think possibly between a poor and a pass.
Okay, that makes sense. Because the poor detracts, whereas the pass is not.
Yeah, I don't feel like the whole thing's fallen apart, but they could make an attempt. But I don't think it's really. I don't think it's very well supported.
I think that's very fair. So that takes us on to their feedback.
It certainly does. So the feedback. What was the feedback you received in the first lab of the sprint, and how did you respond?
I'm kind of intrigued.
Indeed. So I do remember having a first play of this when there was, I think, one level, and there wasn't an awful lot to it. And so the feedback kind of reflects that.
Okay.
The feedback is this needs coherent graphics. So it was one guy and one platform and a red blob representing the enemies.
Yeah.
So they added dynamics, including tiles, sprite characters of enemies, and so on. And I think that was good. I think put the things in, and they have absolutely put the things in, and they have actually done it, quite creatively. They've got the guards, they've got you're just a little white cube, right?
Yeah.
Or you're just a cube with a face and a white jacket. That does kind of communicate asylum patient, right?
Yeah, it's quite fun. Yeah.
It kind of communicates little chap running around in a straitjacket. I think they've done a quite good job there.
Yeah.
The other feedback that they've received was just feedback to fluid mechanics. So they've improved the player movement, and the player can no longer jump off the screen.
Huh.
Good.
Yeah.
Yep. The other thing they said was more complex mechanics. So they added a health bar to the player, which is affected by the enemy.
Yeah.
And they added the little cutscene at the beginning to make the game more interesting.
So it
says quick time event to make the game more interesting. So there might also be the frozen lock picking moment, which actually is quite sweet. That was quite sweet.
Yeah. So
finally, they needed to have clear goals, risks, and rewards. So they made it clear the player should reach the end of the level to progress, identified an enemy as a clear risk, and the reward is being able to clear the level. Now that is a goal. That's not necessarily a reward. Yeah. So that might be where the goal.
So that's the first. So they've got some basic. So essentially, they've got some basic feedback about you need to develop your game a bit further and have a few more mechanics, and they have done that. And then they've got a more sophisticated piece of feedback, which is about the goals, risks, and rewards being missing. And unfortunately, that's what they haven't addressed particularly. Was there anything else from that kind of more sophisticated level, or?
No.
No. Okay.
There was.
Yeah. So okay. So we've got a sort of set of basic feedback which has been done. So satisfactory would be feedback was addressed and changes have been somewhat successful. And I would say it can't really be good because that kind of fundamental problem about goals, risks, and rewards hasn't really been addressed well. So I would say that probably we're at the satisfactory level.
I think that's pretty fair because they have developed the game, which was indeed some of the feedback they've had, but it wasn't. It's not particularly complex or imaginative interpretation because it was kind of quite basic feedback. And then, as you say, the more sophisticated stuff not super well addressed. So satisfactory seems reasonable there. And that brings us to the end of the game.
So final thoughts on this one?
I actually really quite like the aesthetic of this. I think they did quite a lot with the little thing, but I think that possibly they didn't spend a lot of time creating those graphics where it would have been more productive to have them into meaningful game design, which is really what we're going for here.
Yeah, it feels like it's one of those games where they've developed that kind of the kind of core mechanics of the game is there, but then they haven't managed to build a game on top of it. So they've got quite a fun little platformer with a nice aesthetic and kind of collection of keys and unlocking, but then they've not developed the levels well enough. They don't have those goals, risks, rewards in it. They've not thought about what the core dynamic's going to be and kind of used a kind of scoring system to emphasize that core dynamic. So it just feels like it could do with another, week or so of game design development, right? Probably which would be quite quick to implement, but just needs that layer of extra thought to kind of make it into a more coherent game.
When I say things like, we're not going to say things like find the fun, like they've now got the fundamentals, and what they needed was some time spent following what's fun in the game so that they could push a core dynamic.
Yeah.
Like, is it trying to get to the end? Is it trying to evade the enemies? Is it collecting interesting stuff?
I think that's exactly right. Okay. Right, thanks for that. That's our last one. So thanks for watching the video, and we will catch up with you in a next video.